Hello, everybody. Now, today I will talk to you about one of the most important plays of Eugene O'Neill, Desire Under the Elms. Now, Eugene O'Neill was born in a hotel room in the year 1888, and his parents were at the same time staying in one of the hotels of a barrack house, and he was supposed to be the youngest of the three siblings, and most of the time he had been spending in the hotel, and in fact later on he died in a hotel also. He had suffered from tuberculosis, and he met with a very tragic death in the end. But during his lifetime he wrote a number of plays and won renown. In fact, he also won the Pulitzer Prize as well as the Nobel Prize in 1936. Now, this particular play, Desire Under the Elms, was written in 1924 and published also in the year 1924 and 25. So you can say this why this play is important is because it is one of the modern tragic dramas, and it is featured on the grounds of a Greek tragedy, Hippolytus. And in fact, the main characters, Cabot, Aben, and Abby, they represent the characters in that Greek drama, Phaedra, as well as the father, Theseus. So, I mean, there's a little similarity between the two plays, and that is why, you can say that this play has features of the Greek tragedy. Now, this particular play is of my particular liking because, it talks about a theme, desire. The very title of the play, Desire Under the Elms. Now, the elms are the two trees that are, spread out like two arms over the roof of the house. This particular play took place in a farmhouse of England in the year 1850. And these two elm trees, they are bordering the house, and it is at the same time, it is, you can say, giving a protective feeling, but at the same time, it gives a feeling of being subdued. And almost these two elves that are stretching out are like they give a sinister maternal look also, because they are representing like the sagging breasts of a mother with the arms and the hands spread out on the house. And it is giving a real, you can say, a zealously absorbing feeling about the human existence there in the house. Now, as I already told you, the word desire. Now, this is a very common term. When you talk of desire, of course, we all have desires. Desires can be of multifarious qualities. Desire can be of fame, desire can be of wealth, desire can be of love, desire can be of popularity, desire can be of getting little things in life, desire can be of happiness also, isn't it? And we all have desires in life, and it is not bad to have desires. But in this particular play, it is the desire for property, desire for wealth, desire for love. That is most important. And the important characters of this play are Cabot, who is the father of the three sons, Simon, Peter, and Aben. Simon is the eldest one, then Peter, and then Aben is the youngest one. And Simon and Peter were born by the first mother. That is, Cabot had married twice, and Simon and Peter were the siblings of the first wife who died early, and Aben was the sibling of the second mother, More, as she is talked of in the play. And she was timid, quiet, but she worked hard, slaved her life to death. That's what Aben says about his mother in the play. But the most tragic and, you can say, ridiculous factor is that Cabot, he feels restless, and he wants to get married a third time, and he goes and marries a third wife, Abby. She's young, she's 35 years old, with a buxom body, good looking, sturdy, strong, and suddenly it takes upon the mind of Cabot in order to get married. Why? Because he wants to remove his feeling of loneliness. Now, the three sons, they are antagonistic towards their father. In fact, they hate their father. Why? Because the father has not allowed them to marry or to keep a wife. In fact, Simon is supposed to get married, and he was not allowed to have a family life. And he has used these sons in order to slave on the fields. That is his farmhouse. He's very possessive about his farmhouse. And what Cabot talks about his life upon this farmhouse in New England. He says that it was stones everywhere. It was a very rocky area. It was not a fertile. It was a barren land, full of rocks, stones after stones, and it was a hard time. He says, Cabot says, God is not easy. It was a hard time for him to break the stones and make the soil fertile. And in fact, once upon a time, he does give in because he found that a group of people, group of farmers, they were trudging away towards California in search of gold, in search of easy wealth. He also joined the troop. He thought, why am I laboring here? Why should not I go there also? He also decides to trudge away. But while he's on his way, some inner conscious prompted in his mind, life is not easy. Nothing is easy. Why you are going there? Why you are wasting your life in searching for gold in the West, in California? You stay here. So that voice was the voice of God within him, which prompts him to return to his fields. And he does return, and he keeps on plowing and sowing and removing the stones after stones from the farmland in order to make it fertile. And it does succeeds. And in fact, Simon and Peter, Eben, they are all working on the field, but Eben is mainly there in the house. He's doing the housework. He manages the food and the supper and the breakfast, everything, and looks after the house, whereas Simon and Peter, they keep slogging on the field. So all three of them want a share in the field. And in fact, the father, Cabot, is around 75 years old. He's an old man. And all the three sons think that after his death, they will get a share in the property. And with the help of that property, they will be able to build up their own homes. So they are, in fact, in a way, inside their hearts, they are waiting for the end of Cabot. But one fine morning, they discover that Cabot has gone away. He has left the town without telling about his whereabouts. Everybody is, a little disturbed and puzzled, and everybody is wondering. They are awestruck as to what has happened to Cabot and where has he gone and when will he come back. And it takes him 2 months to be back. And when he comes back, there he comes along with a third young wife, Abby, with him. And when this discovery is made by the three sons, all of them are, you can say, frustrated, depressed, and deeply, very angry with the father. That why did he go and marry a third wife? They do not want to accept, none of the three of the sons want to accept Abby as their stepmother. In fact, Aben is very much against because he says nobody can take the place of his mom. He is very much particularly attached with his mother even after her death. He can feel the presence of the mother all along around the house, and especially in the parlor where he does his cooking, etc., in the living room. He feels the presence of the mother and he keeps talking to her. And with her presence, he is able to look after the house. Now, when they realize that Cabot has returned with a third wife and Abby is going to be their stepmother, Simon and Peter lose hope because they feel now they will never get a share in the property. Because after the death of Cabot, Abby will become the owner of the farmhouse and she will be the holder of the property also. So both Simon and Peter, there's something was tingling in their minds, and I mean, they were in fact thinking also of going to California to search for gold in the West, where there is easy gold. But naturally, at that time in 1815, traveling was not an easy thing. They had to walk or either go by sea, take a ship. and they did not have the money to go by ship. So now Aben, he plays a game with the two brothers. He buys their share by giving them money. He knows that the father, keeps the money buried below the floorboard into you can say, a pot. Like in the former times, of course, there were no lockers where you can keep your money, and there were no banks in that sense where you can save your money. But their people, whatever they used to earn, their hard earned money was kept under the floorboard in a particular pot. So he had seen his father sometimes opening the floorboard and taking out the money. So he knew the money is kept there, and he puts the two brothers, Simon, I mean, he bargains with the two brothers that if you give him their share of property, he will give in return their share of money in order to travel safely to California by ship. So they don't have to trudge along on foot, but in fact, they will have an easy way to travel to California. Now, Simon and Peter, in the beginning, they were reluctant, but of course, when they come to know that they will get easy money in order to go to California to earn wealth or earn gold in the West, they decide to go with the bargain, and they are ready to give up their share of property in return with the money that Aben is going to give them. And so, just on the one hand, where Cabot is arriving with Abby to the house. There on the other side, Simon and Peter, they leave the house in anger, taking the money with them in trying to search for gold in the West. Eben, of course, is here. Eben feels that, well, he is going to stay back and he is going to not leave his share of property in the farm. But he is very, very reluctant, very, very annoyed, very, very angry with the arrival of Abby. And in the beginning, they are, you can say, at loggerheads with each other. He does not want to talk to Abby. He does not want to accept her. But Abby, as soon as she enters the house, she looks around the house and says, "It's my home." She says, "It's my home." Now, see the word, the possessiveness that is there in the mind of Abby, the desire that is there in the mind of Abby. Now, Abby has a desire for a home because she has led also a very poor life. I mean, work. Her mother was on not well off, and she had also got married once, and then the husband was a drunkard, and he had left her, and she was also slaving around from house to house, earning money. And now, finally, when Cabot comes up to her to ask her for marriage, naturally, she is ready because she feels that he's an old man, he will die soon, and after his death, she will become the owner of the property, she will become the owner of the farm, and she will become the owner of the house. So, naturally, this desire, this possessiveness of the house, a home, and a farm makes Abby marry Cabot, though she has absolutely no love for Cabot. And as soon as she enters the house and when she says, "This is my home," Cabot all the time reminds her, "This is not our home." He corrects, "It's not my, but our home. This is not your room, but our room." And of course, as I told you, Aben is not ready to accept her in the beginning. And in fact, he is all the time, on fighting terms with her. But later on, because of her yeah, flirtatious movements, and because of her coquettishness, and because of her, sweet talks, Abby tries to attract Aben. And in spite of his resistance, he finally does fall in for her. And in the beginning, he resists her. And once, when they were lying, Cabot and Abby were lying in the bedroom. I mean, Cabot is trying to approach Abby, but Abby is listlessly lying without making any response. And Cabot, in anger, leaves the bedroom and goes to the barn. Cabot always finds comfort in the barn, where the cattle and the pigs and the you can say the crops, he feels they belong to him and he belongs to them. They are his caretaker. So, in a way, all the time when he feels disturbed in the house, he goes to the barn and sleep there. And when he goes away, naturally, Abby approaches Aben and she wants to make love to him, but Eben shuns her, and he goes into the parlor, and Abby also goes into the parlor, and there she, calls the mother, and she tries to provoke Eben by saying that, see, the Moor is here, and Moor is looking at us, and Moor is happy that we are together, and she blackmails Eben on the grounds of the mother, because she knows that the weakness of Eben is his mother. So the first thing is that she should approach the affection of the, or rather, she should gain the affection of Eben through the mother only. So naturally, when Abby talks sweetly like this, he falls in for her, and they both, start having relationships. And then they also decide that Abby promises him that she will marry him, and she will leave Cabot, and she has no love for Cabot, and she has no love for farm, etc. But now, when Cabot wants to approach Abby, he is saying that, now Abby tries to blackmail Cabot for her desire by saying, see, if I give you a baby. Now, Cabot wants another son who will become the holder of the farm, because he feels that Simon and Peter, they have turned away from him, and Eben is not true to him, and he needs another son. So Abby, tries to win over him by saying that, if I give you a son, what will you do? What will you give me in return? So Gabbis gets very excited, and he says, by God, if you are able to give me a son, then I am going to give you my farm. So he relents in, and he says, and he promises her that, if you give me a child, I am going to give you the farm. Now, Abby plays upon these words of Cabot, and when later on she gets pregnant, she is happy, and she reveals to Aben that this is their son. This is a growth of their love between each other. And she refrains from telling Cabot that it is the son of Aben. She makes Cabot believe that it is his son. And Cabot gets wildly very happy, and he throws a party to the whole neighborhood, and the whole neighborhood is there. And every neighbor looks upon Aben and looks upon Abby with and giving a sly look, knowing that this is not the son of Aben, but this is the son of, this is not the son of Cabot, but the son of Aben. But they joke among each other, of course, but not saying it openly in front of Cabot. And Cabot keeps on believing, and he's in high spirits. He gets over drunk. He offers drinks to everybody and lets everybody enjoy. But of course, Aben does not come down to join the party, and Abby is sitting listlessly in a chair waiting for Aben's arrival. But Aben does not turn. And Cabot gets so drunk up, and he, jumps so high up like a monkey jumping. He is so high in spirits even at this age. And in fact, he states that, I have more strength and more valor than all my three sons, who at their young age are not able to do a single job. Because he says this farmhouse was stones, full of stones, and he removed stone after stone. He built that stone wall, that brick wall, in order to remove those hurdles from the farmhouse and make the farm fertile. So, and he says, God is not easy. It's not easy to earn money as he has done. He's labored hard, he's slaved on the fields, and because of that, he has earned money. So he is thoroughly very happy. Now, later on, but Cabot, he also is very, in his excitement, he goes up to Aben and tells that, see, and he tells against Abby. He says, see, Abby has given a son to me. Why? Because she does not love Aben, and she wants to get the farmhouse, and she is given the baby in order to get the farmhouse. And that is why she has got the baby. Now, when Aben comes to know that Abby has played this trick, that is what he feels. It is not actually that what Abby has really done that, because Abby is truly in love with Aben. But Cabot makes him believe that Abby has given birth to a son in order to get the farm. And when he comes to know this, he gets very annoyed. He feels that Abby has tricked him into getting a son in order to get the farm. And then he comes and He, in fact, gets very annoyed with Abby. He slaps her and he tells her that I have no love for him and he will leave the farmhouse and he will leave the house because you have played upon me. And then, of course, Abby gets very, 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 very perturbed and he says, no, I love you and I got the son because of my love for you. And if you think it is this son which is coming in between our love, then I will kill him. Now she decides to kill her own son in order to earn the respect and love of Eben, in order to make him believe that the son is a love between the two of them. So while Eben is preparing to move out of the house, she goes quietly up to her room, and the baby who's lying in the cradle, she goes and put a pillow over the baby and strangles him to death. And when she kills her own son with a very heavy heart, naturally she's a mother and she does it with a very, very heavy heart. She cries and she comes down and tells Aben, see, I have done what you wanted me to do. I did not want that child in between our love. I did not want that child to be coming in between the love of us. So I forfeited that claim of that child and I have killed him. And when Aben, realizes that she has murdered the child, he gets furious. And out of sheer anger, he goes out of the house and he goes and immediately, without thinking, without reasoning, as if every reasoning has gone out of his mind, he becomes thoughtless. He goes and informs the sheriff so that the sheriff should come and capture Abby. And when he goes to the sheriff, there Cabot comes around. And when Cabot comes and claims that the child is there and he feels happy about the child, then Abby reveals to him that this is not your son, but this is Aben's son. And I have killed him in order to prove my love for Eben. And this infuriates Cabot also. So he says, well, see, he has gone to the sheriff to get it, and I wish the sheriff should come and he should take both of you. Because you see, he feels as if he is a lonely fellow. He has always been lonesome in life, and he will still continue to live this lonely life on the farm with his cattle and with his crops. So finally, when the sheriff arrives, meanwhile, Aben, while he's waiting for the sheriff to get dressed and come with him, he realizes everything goes back in his mind, and he realizes that what Abby was saying is the truth. She has killed the son, not because she wanted as a mother to kill the son, but she has done it in order to prove her love for me. And then he realizes also, it dawns upon him that he also truly loves Abby. And then comes back crying in front of Abby and says, well, I'm not going to give you to the sheriff all alone, because he comes running. The sheriff comes later on, but he comes running before the sheriff and he professes and confesses his guilt, and he says that, see, I am also a participant in the murder of the child, because it is because of me you have killed the child. So you alone are not going to the sheriff and you are not going to the jail, but in fact, I myself will accompany you. And both of them confess their love for each other. And when the sheriff comes, both are ready to be taken in by him, by the sheriff. And when the sheriff takes both of them, naturally, Cabot is left all alone. He is a lonely figure, a lonesome body in the house. And he says, God's not easy. Again, he says, God's not easy. And in fact, God wished him to stay alone in the farm, to fend for himself, and to do the job. So he realizes that, in fact, see, Cabot had a desire for a farm. Cabot had a desire for the wives. Cabot had a desire for the sons. And Cabot wished for prosperity in life, for wealth and happiness in life. But everything turned out to be futile for him in the end. Abby had a desire for a home. Abby had a desire for belongingness. And Abby wanted that feeling of belongingness and having a family. And that she tries to win over in establishing her relationship with Aben. Of course, due to this entanglement of the child and of Cabot's coming in between, finally she gets her desire fulfilled, although she has to pay for it by being caught in the end for the misdeed that, or rather, the sin that she committed in killing the child. And the three sons, all three of them, wanted a home, wanted a family, and wanted a share in their farm, in the property, because they have slaved for it. So you can say this particular play, there are a number of multifarious themes in this. The themes are desire, revenge also, because see, Cabot is wanting to take revenge on Aben. Aben is taking revenge on Abby, and Simon and Peter taking revenge upon their father by running away from the home and taking shelter in California. And it is a modern tragedy. Tragedy because all of them meet with unhappiness in the end. Even though Simon and Peter run for wealth in the West, yet they have lost their home, they have lost their father, they have lost their brother, they have lost their family. And Aben and Abby, even though they confess and profess their love in the end, but still they have to suffer for their sins in life. So this is a tragedy for in their lives too. So desire, revenge, and tragedy. These are the main themes of the play. And then another theme can be farming, because how they have all the time labored in the fields. Farming is also one of the themes. And then another important theme can be the gender relationships, the relationship of the father with the sons, and the relationship of Aben with Abby, and the relationship of Cabot with Abby. So, these feministic issue that is there in this particular play also tends to highlight that how, everyone, because of their feeling of desire, they do not remain faithful to the person to whom they are committed. Actually, by marriage, Abby is supposed to be committed towards Cabot. But when she comes to to his home, she is having a desire. She's looking for her own self, for her own security, for her own home, for her own comfort, for her own love, by seeking love with Abel. So these gender issues are also there. And then religion, faith, because all the time, Cabot is relying on God. God is there in heaven. God is with me. God is not easy. And it is because of God that I have stayed back on the farm. And God wished me to look after the farm, to break these stones and to break this rocky region in order to make it more fertile. But with all these things, they had to undergo a lot of suffering. So, this is about the desire under the elms, how the desire can lead you into different directions. It can lead you in running away from the home, it can lead you in a mismarriage, and it can lead you in having, a fight with the father. I mean, it can destroy the dysfunctional relationships in marriage. That is what also it tends to show. I hope you have understood the play. Thank you so much.